over the last 10 or so years, what have been some of like the key successes or things that you've seen from your perspective that kind of stick out as like, yeah, that was a pretty significant thing we did. That was a pretty cool thing we did.
I think avalanche safety gear for us, especially backpacks, has been a real key. I've been heavily involved in the avalanche stuff for the last 5 or 6 years. We really wanted a bag that was kind of developed by snowmobilers for snowmobilers, and we were, I would say, the first to do that.
Yeah.
And now there's kind of been other people that have kind of understood that, hey, the snowmobile market is a big market. It makes sense to develop a bag that works more specific for the snowmobile market, and that's been I think a pretty that market's grown a lot in the last 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
Avalanche safety awareness has gone up, and with the snowmobiles that we have nowadays and the capability of the riders, it's something we all have to be aware of. Like, we have to educate ourselves.
Yeah.
And the snowmobile community is starting to understand that. And so avalanche safety and the strides we've made in that and the products that we've developed for that have been a big part of our business, and something that it's a pretty rewarding feeling to know that a lot of the stuff you see on the snow is a KLIM Avy bag.
Yeah.
So I'd say that's one of
Yeah.
them.
So here's kind of a fun question. I'm like trying to remember back in 2013, 2014, what it was like. But let's say you were in a group, maybe 10 riders, right? Back then, what would you say the percentage of those riders having the essentials, right? The bag, the probe, the beacon, shovel. Like, what do you think the
10 years ago?
10 years ago compared to now? Like with like the crew that you kind of, maybe you were just.
I don't know if my crew is maybe the best example, because we were pushing that at the time, and so most of my crew, I was adamant that we needed to have something.
But if you take
in
like
general,
an
I don't think it was really high.
Yeah. So that change has been.
I bet it was less than 15%.
Yeah,
that's a guess. I have no data to back that up with, but now I bet it's got to be over 50 or 60%. I would think.
Oh yeah, for sure.
All the hardcore guys, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good because it's almost to a point now where it's like, if you show up and you don't have that, you're like looked upon a certain way. Like, what the heck are you doing, man?
Yeah.
Well, you know.
And honestly, that's the way it should be.
It should be, yeah.
Because I need that person to have my back.
Yep.
Right. So if they're not prepared, then I'm at risk.
Yeah.
Right. And so there's a selfish way to look at it, and then there's also a way, like, I care about that person being safe as well. There's those two perspectives, but yeah, we need to put pressure on our
good
organizations.
Pressure to put.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Cool. What about some of the challenges? What have been some things that you've seen over the last decade that you're like, oh man, we barely survived that one?
Dude, snow.
the volatility of Mother Nature, right?
Yeah, snow, and I would say land use.
Yeah.
There's always challenges in business no matter what, right? Like, there's always going to be hurdles. Just working with relationships and dealers and coworkers and employees, like that's never going to go away. But the one thing that's just out of our hands completely is weather and snow.
Yeah.
And that when you obviously snow it's like half our business, right?
Okay.
So we have the motorcycle side that's less dependent on weather.
Yep.
But the snow makes it at times pretty volatile.
Yeah.
And this year is a perfect example because the Midwest had no snow last winter. None.
Yeah. Like
there's
trails not even open.
Yeah. 400 or 500 dealers that are sitting on 70, 80% of their inventory.
Yeah.
And from an economic impact to the industry, that is huge.
Yeah.
Like, bad.
Yep.
Like, it's basically the worst possible scenario.
Mm-hmm.
You get high interest rates, you get economic downturn, and then you have no snow.
Mm-hmm.
That's
perfect
a really
storm for super crappy conditions and situation.
Yeah.
And so when this goes live, it'll be October. So fingers crossed, maybe we get some September snow.
I hope so.
Right?
I hope so. Yeah. Everybody needs it.
Yeah.